Hi, welcome to Bronx Porch Homestead, and it's going to be a very busy day. So I'm outside and I am hanging out with Charlie and Holly just to give you a little update on what's going on with them. Holly just gave birth like yesterday and she ate up all her babies, literally ate them all. It was not gruesome, I'll tell you why, because she had them yesterday, last night. She was sitting on top of them. This morning I came in, I opened up the cage to give her some water and some hay, and they were gone. No trace of them, except for maybe a little pink something, but that's about it. They were gone. So that means that she ate them, and I'm glad that I didn't get to see any decapitated heads or anything like that. So yeah, Holly's just not cut out for babies. I said I wasn't going to have her get pregnant again. This happened on the day that she gave birth the last time, because literally we've been keeping Holly and Charlie away for the entire month, which has been a lot of work, especially since I went away for a week. So it's been, the rabbits have really been high maintenance, to say the least. So let's get these guys, and they're so cute. It's almost like they were kissing. Yeah, so he really does want to lay his hands on her. But anyway, I'm gonna try getting him into his coop, and then after that I'm gonna go downstairs and show you what I have done with tomatoes, because they were fairly big when I came back, and something does have to get done about that. I'll show you a little trick on how I continue to grow tomatoes that are overgrown and still produce. So before we head downstairs, I just want to show you what I'm doing. I'm actually hardening off the tomatoes. They are pretty big, and I needed to use sticks, marshmallow sticks, the long ones, in order to prop them up. I'll show you how I do that. I came up with the idea because I needed sticks in order to hold plants up, but I needed kind of thin ones. And as soon as I saw these big marshmallow ones, immediately I said, oh, I could use those. And I figured, you know, it's just something, and they're only $1. So it's just something that you would want to pick up like multiple of if you happen to do what I'm doing. But these are all tomatoes, and it's not going down past 40 today. So I've left them out pretty much all day. I'm gonna see what it's like later on, and then I'll determine whether I should just, you know, bring them back in or leave them out if it's going to remain at 45 Fahrenheit. But we'll see. So back from my trip, and just wanted to show you that we did get that light put up. So now we're going to have a light up here. I'm going to have another one down here. These were the lights that are UL listed, and it's a really nice full spectrum, you know, light. I am at ease with leaving these on overnight. I'm happy. Just want to show you that's what they look like. I did the unpackaging, I guess a month ago when I had purchased these. I'm going to get another 2 more, so I can do one here, and then I can get rid of this shelving here and put one here too. So, okay, so over to where this is here. These are the tomatoes that grew within the 6 days, tremendously tall. They were not transplanted. They were not even transplanted into the big one. So they're about 1 foot tall already. This is what happens when you plant seeds very early, and it's not time yet to actually put them into the raised bed or on the ground. The potatoes are awesome. These are the potatoes. I'm so sorry. These are the peppers. These peppers are great. These are perfect size. We don't have anything to do with, like, we don't have to like pot them up yet. These are very good. We still have some eggplants. These are the eggplants. See, these are the eggplants. Excellent, no worries. It's the tomatoes that took off, but it's the tomatoes that we count on for the pantry. So for example, this is the tomato San Marzano right here. It is tremendously huge. So I just want to show you some other ones, what it kind of looks like before I do the work on it. So here is a tomato San Marzano. I'm going to show you what I did. So this is the stick. It's a marshmallow stick, okay? And then let me put you up here, guys. That's better. Okay. All right, that's better. So this is the stick that I am using to hold them up. They come in this package, which is really great. These are $1. $1. You get 12 sticks in here. It's just, I bought 20 packages. You know, I should have bought 50 of them. But these were $1. It's called marshmallow roasting sticks, and I will continue to use these. So what happens is I like them because they have a point on one end. See the point on one end, and then the regular round part on the other end. But the point I like because it goes right into the soil, which is what I did here. So I put it right in the soil, and then I tied them with trash bag ties. These are you can get ties at a nursery store for $2.99, $3.99 in my area. I don't know where about any other place, but these guys are the ties from the trash bags, which I never use because I just hand tie those. And these have been cut in half. So normally they're like this long, and then I cut them in half because I don't need to have them so big, right? And then I take one, and then I tie them loosely around the two. So I'm gonna demonstrate one, and then I'll show you. And then what happens is now I harden these off. I bring them outside. They're in a tray of water, and within 3 or 4 days, I'm gonna see how the weather is here, the temperature is, and then I'm gonna start putting it in its place without actually planting it, just so that they get used to the area first. Every single one of these has a tag, so I know what on earth it is. All right, so let me put this one aside. Okay, so this one here, this is the amethyst one, the tomato cherry amethyst. So now it's small, okay? I could pot it up to this one, but it's not gonna make that much of a difference at all at this point, since it's gonna go in the ground soon. It's already April 4th here. So I'm going to leave it in here. And I tell you why. Last year, I seeded more tomatoes than I needed. And some of them actually grew in these tiny little things, in these tiny little containers. And they flowered and they produced little tomatoes. So they're not going to be here that long, but I know that they're going to be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 of these ready. Okay, so I have my 2 ties ready. Let me come a little bit closer. Now, the reason I'm showing you how I do this is because if you were like me, I actually seed mine on purpose. I know that I've heard if you're a newbie, you probably seeded too early. I'm not a newbie. I seeded early because I wanted to. So that is just a matter of choice. If you do seed early, you need to be prepared on potting up, and if not potting up, what other interventions can you do? Or I happen to be in a home where I have the space, but if you don't have the space, then timing is important. Okay, so what I do is I take one of my long sticks, my long marshmallow stick. I am going to stand this up a little bit, not too much. I don't want to break it, okay? me get this out. I don't want to break it. All right, if you can see that. I know the lights are on back there. Okay, right next to the stem, I am going to push down the marshmallow stick all the way down until it hits the very bottom. All right, then I'm going to take one of my ties and I'm going to tie the middle. Now when I tie the middle, all I'm doing is just tying the two ends. I'm not forcing it together, okay? And then I'm going to go to the top. Let me go back here, go to the top, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Just tie the ends so that it stays up, but I don't want it to, I don't want to put any pressure on the actual stem. Then, you see now? Look at that. Now they're nice and straight. You have to see, there's some of them that were so crooked. I worked with the curve and I had to tie it up in different places. So now you see how the roots are coming out from the bottom, okay? I'm going to put this in the tray and I'm going to let it recuperate, because it probably went through a lot of stress since I wasn't here for that 1 week. And then, you know, so that it gets into producing again. So let's put this one to the side. Again, I always keep my name tag, so keep your name tag so that you know what type of plant it was. I'm going to show you one that is a little crooked. Now, sometimes the stem will break, but guess what? See this is broken. I remove it, okay? Don't let it stress out anymore. Now, this is why I'm keeping this one. This is a tomato San Marzano. Look at the length of this tomato plant. No leaves. The bottoms were taken off because they were yellow and they were dry. However, there's about a good 10 inches here. So when I plant this outside, I am going to plant this plant all the way up to here. All this is going to be under the soil. All this will turn into roots. So, and it'll be a lot of roots. So I have deep planters out there. So, and then what's going to be left about 1 inch or 2 above the soil will be these 3 leaves. Okay. I'm going to show you how I do that again. You take, hi David.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi.
You take the stick pointed down, push that all the way down, okay? And then, now I'm not going to straighten this one up because it's curved, like really curved. So I'm going to take my little trash twist tie here, and I'm just gently going to hold it up. Okay, just gonna hold it up. See that? Just gonna hold, and then I'm gonna do one for the top. I'm gonna take this. This is why it's good to have them already. Okay, here we go. And just gonna hold it to the top. All right, it's loose. It is loose, but it's standing up. So now, again, I will put this in a tray, fill that up with water so that it waters from the bottom. And then when I plant these next week, it seems like I'm gonna plant them. I will plant them all. I will plant from here all the way this here, all the way up to this tie. And what's going to be left is just the 3. So whoever looks at it is not going to say, oh, that's a big plant, because all of the stem is going to be underneath. And that's how I get away with having long stem tomatoes, or seeds that turn leggy. You know, if they're leggy. You could do that with, by the way, with, I do it with zucchini. I do it with cucumbers. I don't do it so much with peppers. It doesn't really work out with me with peppers. I could be wrong, but it doesn't do that with me for pepper. With peppers, there's a hard pruning that I always have to go refer back to. But with tomatoes, this is what I end up doing. And again, I can do this because I have the space. Otherwise, I would have had Otherwise, I would have seeded these in March, late March. But I seeded these in February, if you remember. So that I'm going to put aside. Let me see if there's another one here. Yeah, there's another one here. So sometimes they get a little tangled. Okay, so this one is all right. So you see this? It just literally flops over. That's bad, right? That's super bad. So right here, I'm going to show you what happened. See how it's drying? So what I do is, before I put the stick in, I'm going to pinch this one off. Okay, turn it around, and I'm going to pinch this one off. Now I could leave this one, but I'm not because of this. So guess what? I'm gonna pinch that one off too. And since it is top heavy, I am even going to pinch this one off. And that is because when I plant these, again, I'm going to plant them from the last stem coming out, which I may even take this one out. I'm not ready yet because the leaves are fine. But when I plant them, then I'll get to that point where I'll make up my mind whether I'm going to keep this one or not. I now have a long stem. It's about 7 inches long. All right. And then I'm going to show you how this works. David, can I get your help?
Sure.
So what I want to do is I want to show a close-up of how I put the ties in. So, all right. So while David's holding the camera, I'm going to show you how this is done. First of all, I always make sure that there's a label, like I said. All right. So if you come real close, you can see that it is about a foot long, right? I would say it's about a foot long, this thing. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's very crooked. So I call this the spine. This is very crooked. This is the point that I'm going to be putting in. See how it's flopped over like that? All right, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to take this stick here. Actually, I'm going to put it behind it. And I'm going to push it all the way down until it can't go any further. Now, this is where I need you to do the close-up. If you can come in, because I want to show how I twist it without having to put any force. You can't straighten this out. It's going to break. It's like a spine. You know, you can't do that. You have to put like a brace on it. So what I do is I take it from the very top, leave the curve alone. Take your twist tie that you either purchased at the nursery or you take it from the trash bags. Now watch what I do. I don't press it. All I do is make a twist at the end. That is it. Look, it still moves. You see how it could still move? There's no tightness there, all right? Now what I can do is come down a little bit on that curve. Now for this one, I am going to make the tie a little bit longer because I just want to bring it in just a tiny bit, right? So you take your tie, come around the stem. Did you get that? Come around the stem, and again, just twist the very ends. But don't put pressure on the stem. You just want it to be held together. There you go. See that? 1, 2. And look how nice and straight. Okay, the other thing is, if you noticed, I take the leaves off that are dried and the ones that are no good anymore, the tomato leaves. And yes, they smell great. And yes, you would think that, or I thought that these would be great for my hens. They're not. I also thought, okay, well, if the hens can't eat them, maybe the rabbits can. No, they can't. So anytime that I have something I want to give to my domestic livestock, I always ask Siri if I can give it to them, because even though I may have read it 3,000 times that you don't give tomato leaves to small animals because they could be toxic to them, I forget. So I always double check myself, triple check myself, quadruple check myself. Even if I read it yesterday, I still, I don't know. I always think that I forgot something. So these are going to go in compost, and by the time they decompose with the amount of heat that's in there and everything else, they should be fine for the garden. But I'm not going to be giving them to my rabbits or the hens because they are toxic for them. All right, so I'm going to continue to work on my tomatoes, because it's the tomatoes that really need to produce well for me and for the pantry. So those are the San Marzanos, are the ones that took a beating mostly, and like I said, when I wasn't away here, even though they were taken care of, it's not the same, So here's another one. Right? See how that's very leggy. This is the ruby green. I love bright green tomatoes. So, and here's another one. This is the San Marzano. See how it's like that? Yeah, that's because it's literally outgrew. But again, just to summarize, these are marshmallow long sticks. Excellent plant supporter. And then when you're done with them, and the tomato cages go on, and these come off, I will be reusing them, again. And then the ties are from the trash bags that I use, which I don't use. I get 100 of them, and I don't use them. And then you need a scissor so that you can cut them, because you really don't need that much. And then I'll show you what they look like on the outside. Okay, so I'm hardening them off here, as you can see. You see there's a lot of them, right? So these here, they finally got wet. They were very dry. So I ended up putting water in there, and they perked up. These were kind of like falling and drooping. They perked up. More tomatoes here. This one, very crooked. This one here. And I'll keep trimming them off. As long as the roots stay intact and they're big, I'll keep, trimming them off. So just want to show you. I'm not at a point where I'm going to transplant them because they're just way too big. They're just way too big. It just doesn't make any sense. This one has 3 ties. 1, 2, and 3. This one is a tomato berry. It was one of those heirloom ones. Look how tall this one is. Look at that. There we go. Oh, all the way up. So these are indeterminate, which is why it explains why they are getting super big. They're in a tiny 4-inch container, and I'm not going to transplant them because they're just too big to save another 3 inches. I'm just going to plant them out, but I'm hardening them off out here. And these are other ones. These marshmallow sticks, guys, they're a lifesaver. I think I may even go back and just get more. I'd rather have extra and not use them in case I need them, if that makes any sense. Okay, well, I shared my little tomato secret on tomatoes that overgrow. because they were planted early, but in my case that was purposely done. And I can leave them out here. You have to, determine your space and what you can and cannot do.
Whatever color you have in your mind, show them to me, and you see them shine.
Well, guys, I'm glad I got to share some tips with you on the tomatoes and how I stake them up before bringing them out. And my day's over. I am enjoying the last of my gardening by breaking up the potted soil that from the dead ones, from the dead seedlings and the ones that were already dried up. So this is now my reconnection time. Again, the reason I garden, besides being sustainable, it really is for mental wellness. And there is something to say about playing in dirt. Thanks for hanging out with me. Until the next time.